On. This is Jason, and today we're going to go over the optimal movement system, what it is, how to use it, and all the components of it, all that kind of fun stuff. So, first, the concepts. So, the concept that the optimal movement system is based upon is this concept called foundational physiology. And that concept is that your health and your physiology, the way the body functions, is tiered. Now, from a mechanical point of view, that means that we need to take a completely different approach to each level of what we're trying to achieve in each of these tiers or each of these levels. And so we need to take a different approach to chronic pain as we do for functional performance or, trying to be injury resilient. And that's a different approach that we need to take for athletic performance or competitive performance or even performance of the activities of daily living. And so our process looks like this, where we'll go into working on getting rid of chronic pain. And then we'll move into this injury resilience where we still have some element of the chronic pain approach. And then as we get into this performance, we're still having an element of injury resilience and of chronic pain, but we're just not going to be spending quite as much time in these areas when we're in this phase. And so when we get into our system, how we want to use it, it can be used in order to eliminate pain and increase mobility in the short term, but it really is designed and much more effective as a long-term approach to overall physical development. And so it should be thought of as an investment in health versus versus an expense. The goal of our system and the value of of optimizing movement is to alleviate pain. All pain and injury is caused by mechanical imbalance, and so we want to correct those mechanical imbalances. We want to create an injury resiliency, so that we don't feel like we are liable to get injured by doing just basic everyday activities like walking dog or playing with the kids or stuff like that. We want to increase our mobility, our coordination, and our overall performance of our body mechanics. We want to keep these mechanics of the body in balance so that it may stay active for a lifetime. And so we want to increase the continuity of your physical results. I can't tell you how many people that I've had in strength and conditioning and training and all that kind of stuff who are persistently taking 2 steps forward and 2 steps back, those 2 steps back due to, some sort of chronic pain propping up or, something that's just knocking them out of the game in terms of their ability to continue training and being active. So we're trying to solve that problem. Specifically, we're going to work on range of motion, posture, stabilization of, that core and balance and stuff like that, our mechanical coordination patterns. And then we're of course going to give you independent application of these techniques towards these goals as we go along. So the system is a return to play system. We call it return to play system because it's the same system that we're going to use for athletes when they'll get injured out on the field and they'll go through, this sort of a process in order to get back onto the field. And so what we're going to have you do on the first day is we're going to do a movement evaluation. We're going to do a consultation. We're going to get to know what you're going through. And then we're going to, evaluate your posture, your gait, your full body movements, and then local joint movement. And then we're going to apply the appropriate techniques for development to see how the body responds to those techniques. And this is going to give us a baseline to show us the long-term and the short-term progress in, how we're going to meet milestones toward moving into the next levels that we talked about in those previous slides. So the services and techniques that we're going to use are, number one, done for you. And we call this manual or integrated movement therapies. And these could be like stretch therapy, percussion, fascial or deep myofascial release, cupping, things of that nature, and shockwave when it's indicated. And then we have what we call the done with you approach. And then so what we'll do is we'll integrate restorative strength training techniques. And these are active strategies related to what we do in the table work. And so this is where we're teaching you what to do and making sure that we're optimizing the techniques that you're using so that you can perform these daily at home or in the office or in the gym or wherever you like to perform them. Then you may do so. And so then we'll put these techniques together as an entire strategy that's coached in the studio for you to independently apply on your own. And so through independent application, we give you a virtual training app. This is available to you. And this is an entire program supported by video tutorials. There's tracking, there's calendars, there's reminders, in-app communication with your coach. And then also available are, courses that are more educational based and mentorship where we'll meet with you online to, help you sort of from a project management perspective in terms of getting you to be able to apply this in the best way that you can, as well as nutrition. We know that anti-inflammatory nutrition is a big piece of this. So most people, should have that addressed in some way or another. All right, so what does the full process look like? Well, we're going to come into the first session. We're going to go through that, and then you'll go through the rest of what we call the intake process. So the first session plus the second and third session are what we call the intake process. This first intake process is basically to find out whether this is going to be the best thing for you and, whether you fit with the program and whether the program fits for you. Basically, are we able to get a physical outcome that is, desirable for you? And whether that can be applied in your life as well. And then we're going to move into a strategy. The strategy entails, a service, which we just talked about. What techniques are we going to use? What techniques are going to be most beneficial to your physiology? The frequency of sessions. How often should you be coming in? And then the program that is applied towards those sessions, which we'll talk about in a later video here. And then after that strategy is covered, and that might be a month or 2 months or 3 months, then we're going to go into the next strategy. And that next strategy is going to be, whether we're going into maintenance, maintenance of the progress that you've attained, or whether this is going on to further progression into some new area that we're trying to get to. And that's it, folks. Thanks a lot.